About a year ago, Zack Snyder said something controversial about Batman killing. And of course, many YouTubers immediately jumped on him, claiming that he didn't understand the character and that it proved he was a bad fit for Batman altogether. For example, we have the channel Dan, who exclaims that he is glad that Snyder is no longer involved with the DC universe, and said he got heated after listening to Snyder on the Joe Rogan podcast, and also claims that he doesn't know if Snyder read The Dark Knight Returns because Batman doesn't kill anyone in that, which in reality shows that Dan here actually has never read a comic book in his life, because Batman did in fact kill in The Dark Knight Returns, the mutant who was threatening the child, and the Joker when he snapped his neck. So in reality, Dan here is the fake comic book fan who is just pretending to know a lot about comic books because he's looked up scans on the internet about them. But was that actually the case? Let's play the clip in its entirety.
Case. And the famous thing with Captain Kirk is he went and hacked the machine and made it so there was a solution.
Yeah.
And so that was his response to the no-win situation, was create a scenario where he wins, which is cool, which is a cool character, that's a cool character move. But like, that's kind of how I felt. That's what they would say, don't do that to Batman. Don't put him in a no-win situation, because we don't want to see him lose. Like, we can't see him lose. He has to maintain this godlike status. And that's what the cool thing about Frank Miller. Frank Miller said, fuck it. I want to see who this guy, if a guy, so you're saying to me that I've got a gun to this kid's head, you're Batman, there's no move, there's no trick, there's no throwing the batarang, there's no a dust ball to distract me. Like, I've just got to pull the trigger and I kill this kid. So you're saying in that scenario, what's Batman supposed to do? Right?
Right.
Yeah, he's going to lay down his gun. What's he going to do? Like, it's the guy says to him, I'll do it. I swear it.
I believe you is perfect.
Yeah, I believe you. And
I
then,
believe you.
Yeah. So I'm just like, that's where like Frank Deakins takes Batman and just tears him in half.
Yeah.
And you've got to now come out the other side of that. And Batman is still the hero. Batman still does the right thing. He maintains his code, he doesn't change, but like our perception of him changes. And I think that's like I have run afoul of, but a lot of the fandom who have gotten to the same place I have with the characters where they need to test them to like, and I feel like the characters, it's been my experience that the characters have not let us down. Like, these myths have not let us down. You put them to the ragged edge into that scenario and they come out the other side and you're like, fuck yeah, there's a reason why Superman is Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, he can handle it. He can fucking take it because he's so iconic. Like, you see like the red S, you go anywhere in the world with that Superman t-shirt on, anywhere. And you say to any kid, like, what's this? Oh, that's Superman. Yeah, exactly.
So, as we saw there, what Zack Snyder's overall point is that heroes should be challenged to uphold their values and their beliefs. And even if they stumble or make mistakes, the question should be, can they come back from that? And to Snyder, he believes the answer is yes, they always will come back. And of course, he cites his favorite comic book, The Dark Knight Returns, as an example of this. Throughout Frank Miller's masterpiece, he pushes Batman to his absolute limit, putting him in harder and more difficult situations, pushing him to see how far he will go to protect the innocent. And the question is, during all of these extreme instances, when does he no longer become Batman? And when does he lose his way? And can he redeem himself? Of course, the story concludes that yes, Bruce Wayne is still Batman, and he always will be Batman. That no matter what, kill rule or no kill rule, he will be the hero that Gotham needs. This, of course, was a major theme in The Dark Knight, in which Nolan did the same thing, having the Joker constantly push Batman to more and more extremes to try to see if he can maintain his moral code and how far he is willing to go to be a hero, even if it means breaking his own rules, which he unfortunately does when he is forced to kill Harvey Dent to save a life. Ironically, the much praised Under the Hood storyline of Batman, which of course introduced the Red Hood as the resurrected Jason Todd, deconstructed Batman's no-killing philosophy. Now, understand this. The Under the Hood comic book is different from the animated adaptation Under the Red Hood. And the most notable difference is that whereas in the animated film, when Jason threatens to kill Joker, Batman hits him with a batarang that knocks the gun out of his hand. However, in the comic book, Batman seemingly kills Jason, impaling him with his batarang in his neck. Now, of course, the comic did leave it vague with Jason suddenly disappearing into the night. And of course, as we know, Jason did survive that attack. But the overall point is that Batman insisted that he had to maintain his no-killing philosophy. That if he does kill, he can never go back, even if it is for someone as cruel as the Joker. However, as we see, he did end up killing not only someone who was going to kill Joker, but his own adopted son, and yet he still remained the hero. In reality, this shows that Zack Snyder absolutely understands Batman, and that he understands the importance of the no-kill rule, which was kind of the whole idea for his DCEU, was to take heroes who people had taken for granted, such as Superman and Batman, deconstruct them to their very core, see what makes them a true hero, and then reconstruct them from there. This is why Batman was so much more brutal and uncaring for life throughout Batman v Superman. And by the end of the film, he had his faith in humanity restored. So overall, no, Zack Snyder didn't say that Batman is irrelevant unless he kills. What he did say was that Batman becomes irrelevant if you constantly write him in situations where he never has to make hard decisions. Quite frankly, I noticed this in Matt Reeves' The Batman. While there were a lot of elements that I did like, at no point did I really feel a lot of tension or stakes with Batman. At no point did I feel like he was ever in any serious danger. And I think this is probably one reason. He's never put in any situation where he has to make hard decisions, where he may risk the life of a criminal to save the innocent, or save himself. And I genuinely think this was a conscious effort by Matt Reeves, or at the very least the studio executives, due to responses to Batman v Superman, since we of course saw something similar, that after the outcry of the destruction in Man of Steel, every superhero film following that would emphasize that whenever a big battle took place, no one was around so that nobody would get hurt. But of course, if you don't challenge heroes, then that defeats the purpose of them, and it makes for an uninteresting story. So in reality, Zack Snyder was actually completely on point, and it is these fake comic book fan YouTubers who are misunderstanding or intentionally lying and misrepresenting what he said.